For Nerd Caliber, I'm Kevin Conn, speaking with the writer and artist of a new Vertigo comic called Coffin Hill. Please state your name and tell us a little bit about Coffin Hill.
I'm Kittredge. I'm the writer of Coffin Hill, which is a dark supernatural horror comic set in New England about a girl named Eve Coffin who has a lot of deep, dark family secrets that have just recently come back to haunt her.
I'm Inaki Miranda, and I'm the artist on the book, the same book she writes.
Very, very cool. How did you come up with Coffin Hill? Was this a story you had in the back of your mind for a while, or did DC come to you and ask you for a pitch?
It actually started as a novel because I started writing as a novelist. This is actually my very first comic, and then it never really went anywhere. And then Vertigo did come to me and say they were looking for a horror book, specifically with a female protagonist, and did I have anything? And I thought about this 3 chapters that I had sitting in my hard drive, and I basically scrapped everything except the heroine, and Coffin Hill came out of that. And more generally, I'm from New England, and I grew up about 45 minutes from Salem, so that kind of stuff has always kind of been in the back of my mind, and I drew a lot of inspiration from the historical stuff I grew up with to kind of build the world up around this character that I had.
I was actually going to ask if you grew up in that area, so stop reading my mind. This is a ongoing series, correct? How many issues have you all plotted and penciled and stuff?
I have the whole first story arc done. I have more than that plotted. It's I tend to think way ahead, and I write a lot, so I have tons of stuff running around in my head. And Inaki is really fast too. So
not as fast as you. I mean, I'm in the middle of issue 3 right now, and I so want to know how the arc ends. Yes.
That's great, because being an avid comic book reader, I always get bummed when a new series launches and after 1 month it's delayed because of whatever scheduling. So it's great that you guys are so far ahead, so that way it'll stick with it. How does it feel to be working for Vertigo? I mean, that's they're great. They brought a lot of, growing up, reading superhero stuff. That was what you went to afterwards. So how does that feel to be working with?
It's really still kind of surreal for me because I started reading Sandman when I was a freshman in college, and you're absolutely right. It did just kind of catapult me into this whole larger world of comics from superhero stuff. So to think that 10 years later I'd be here, have a book coming out with them is really crazy. If I had gone back in time and said that to myself at 19, I would have been shut up, I will not.
You're a liar.
Yeah, you're crazy.
How does it feel to be illustrating this book for Vertigo?
Oh, it's amazing. It's one thing I said to Shelley Bond, the editor, is when she showed me a pitch, and I was said, yes, please count me in this one. And once I knew I was in it, I just felt like all my past careers led to this book. I mean, I think I wouldn't have been able to do it maybe 2 years ago because of my skills weren't the same level that they are now. So to me, it's like a starting career with this book.
It's really cool you said that, because I've heard that before, where for artists, they'll get a new comic or just a miniseries or whatever, and it'll challenge them to
Yes, yeah, but challenge is good. Because it forces you.
It makes you.
Right. Yes. And the subject of the theme of the comic is something I always liked, but I never drew it. And it just forces you to change a little bit your style. I mean, everything. I'm so happy with this book. Thank you, Caitlin.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank everybody who's watching this. Jeez. That's great. Is there anything else you want to mention real quick? Because I know you've got a lot of panel after panel, but is something to tell the audience about Coffin Hill that, check it out?
I would just say that if you like your horror dark and supernatural and, with that slow build tension and the monster you can't quite see, if you love American Horror Story or The Evil Dead or anything like that, I would not say I'm exactly as good as them or like them, because I'm a very modest and reserved Yankee at heart. I've physically can't say that, but I would definitely check it out if that's the kind of stuff you're into. So.
Groovy. Well, thank you both so much for taking the time, and enjoy the rest of the con. Absolutely. And for Nerd Caliber, I'm Kevin Conn.